Did you know that 92% of your potential customers are simply not affected at all by your marketing campaigns? But there is a way to reach them, and we're going to find out how in a few minutes. But first, let me tell you a little story about penguins. Yep, penguins, and this will relate, just bear with me. So when a colony of penguins come together at the edge of a cliff and they see all the fish down below swimming around, they don't just all dive in right away and start fishing. The reason is they don't know if there is a predator like a sea lion or a polar bear or something down below in the water that they can't see. So they're not in a huge hurry to jump off. What they do is they all begin to huddle together and they'll push and push and push from the back until finally one or two of them in the front will fall off into the water. Then the rest of them watch and see if they had a safe dive, and if so, and the coast seems clear, then the rest will follow and jump in and swim around and do their fishing. It's a magnificent event. I'm certain you've seen them do this group dive on nature shows. If you haven't, check it out. So your potential customers are a lot like those penguins. They see the product or service there, they want the product or service, yet they're afraid to just dive right in and make the purchase without first hearing feedback from someone they trust. And that's what we're going to get into right after the intro. Hey guys, welcome along to another episode of Telework PH. With me, Jeff Thompson, your host. Thank you very much for joining. Before we begin today, I'd really like to just give a shout out to the sponsor of this podcast, Telework PH Outsourcing Solutions, Inc. We build your team, your customers get the benefit. To find out more, just hop on over to www.teleworkph.com or hit me up on LinkedIn, just search Jeff Thompson. Right, so onto it. Marketing and brand awareness campaigns are the most effective way to find potential customers during that crucial startup phase. This is the time when marketing and brand awareness budgets are extremely generous, almost to a fault, and they have to be. When you're starting from scratch, these campaigns will need a hefty budget in order to be successful. But what happens afterwards, once the customers start signing up and revenue starts generating? The biggest temptation is to get addicted to what is perceived to be working. We want to continue on and even double or triple down on the efforts to see more and more customers signing up or products being shipped out. We'll call this the running start. Now, at this point, it's imperative to begin to analyze the data as much as possible to see where these customers are coming from. And again, that is where the efforts will be doubled and perhaps even tripled. Eventually, those sales and new customers are going to plateau. Or even worse yet, the marketing and brand awareness budget starts to run a little thin and become a burden on the rising operations costs due to the increase in the new customer demands. So then, are you willing to allow those staggering customer acquisition costs to affect the experience of your current loyal customer base? Because if your sales team is bringing in trusting, amazing customers from your target audience, the customers that you want, and then you're giving them automation or chatbots, or if you're cutting costs on their experience in order to make up for the acquisition costs, I'm here to tell you that you're on a straight line for failure. Then every penny you spend on marketing is wasted. So as the pulse of marketing budgets starts to become weaker due to countless non-productive campaigns and rising overhead, the seemingly most logical next step is to find the way to cut costs in order to funnel more of the budget into marketing. No company can grow without climbing margins, which means the need for more customers, right? But there are still those customers that your marketing cannot reach. And pretty soon what a lot of companies do is make the decision to find ways to cut costs in places like support, customer service, and other frontline areas just to divert more cash into marketing to reach those target customers that seem unreachable. And that's like slicing your Achilles tendon. It can be almost unrepairable. When you sacrifice the customer experience, the reviews start piling up, the negative reviews. And once that happens, it's a long, hard road to try to get out from underneath it. Pretty soon, the only comments you'll start getting on your company's social media posts will be angry ones from dissatisfied customers, and those spread like wildfire. Does that sound a little harsh? Perhaps it is. However, there is an easier way, a more cost-effective way, a simpler way to reach those customers that your marketing and brand awareness is not getting to. Or if it does get to them, there's a way to make them pay better attention and at almost zero cost to you, other than to do what you're already doing. The fact is this: not everyone is going to pay attention to your advertisements. No matter how many you put out there, no matter how much cash you sink into brand awareness, there are just some tough nuts out there to crack that won't be taken in by any of it, even if they are your absolute perfect potential customers and they're in the market to buy. And it really isn't a matter of if you are in the right place on Facebook or Instagram, or if you're actually reaching the audience you want. It doesn't matter how catchy your phrases are or how stunning your graphics are. Marketing agencies will make all the promises in the world, and in many cases, when you have the right marketing strategy, it works for that 3%, yet it's still very expensive. Now, don't think that your target customers are not seeing your ads and social media posts. Rest assured, if they're in the market to buy, they are seeing them. They're probably reading more than you think they are. So why aren't they clicking over to the website and signing up? Why aren't they scheduling a demo or ordering at that very minute? What is it about your marketing that doesn't resonate with them? Let me put your mind at ease. It's not you. It's not your brand. It's not your marketing. Today's customers are aware that there is a lot of competition out there, and choosing between brands can take time, and it is an emotional decision. And there is one thing that you have to keep in mind, and this is really important. Marketing will not make them trust you. And that's what it all comes down to. It all comes down to trust. There are people out there, a lot of people out there, who will not trust you no matter what you say. Customers are more aware now. They are more informed. And keeping in mind that the buying journey is an emotional one, like I said, it should be recognized that any purchases, big or small, is not just an investment of their money, but also of their time and their pride. So if not your advertising, who do people trust when it comes to making a purchasing decision? Now, Nielsen did a study that I found really interesting, and they discovered that out of 28,000 respondents in 56 countries, a whopping 92% will trust a family member or friend's recommendation over any advertising or branding. And what's more, a staggering 70% will trust online reviews from complete total strangers over your very own marketing campaigns. Remember the penguins? Sure you do. Now, it's like if I'm having a snack and I tell my wife, wow, this really tastes good, she'll want to have some. But when we're in the store and I ask her to put something in the cart to try, well, she'll be a little bit more hesitant. When your current customers talk about the great experiences they had, they don't just involve their opinion of your company, but also their emotions. They feel good. Sometimes they feel great. And since other people like to feel great too, it makes them pay more attention. And of course, this can also work in the opposite, and that's not something anyone wants, but that's what will happen when you begin to cut costs on the customer experience. So there is a way to reach that 92% and at the same time reduce marketing costs and make your customers do your marketing for you. And they'll reach the people that you never will. And it's simple to accomplish. All you need to do is blow them away with an amazing customer experience. Consider it a strategic move, especially if you see customers falling off, inquiries fizzling out. You need to find out what's going on and fast. Now, as I said, the first response is always going to be, you need to spend more on marketing and branding, redo everything, analyze the campaigns, etc. That's not a bad idea. But before you do all of that, have a look at your online reviews. Talk to your support staff and get a real feel for what's going on with the front lines. Because without an exceptional customer experience that brings in more from word of mouth, you are basically wasting every penny that you'll be spending on marketing. Nothing, absolutely nothing in the world can replace word of mouth advertising, and it's free. So yeah, talk to your frontliners. Maybe they need a boost to add more value to the customer experience. Put them in touch with sales. If you start to notice some gaps or lapses, or even more frustrated and angry customers than you had anticipated, immediately start to map out the entire customer experience once again. Then see what can be done to supercharge it. And there is a way to save a little or a lot and still give an exceptional customer experience. Keep following this podcast over the next few months and see the journey I've mapped out for you. I'll show you more ways any customer support and customer service department can totally up their game and start locking on to giving a superior level customer experience. And that's going to bring a close to this episode of Telecast PH. I've been Jeff Thompson, your host. Thank you so much for joining. If you enjoyed this podcast and if the mood strikes you, please do like and subscribe. I've got a lot of great content lined up. And we have just enough time to once again mention the sponsor of today's podcast, Telework PH Outsourcing Solutions, Inc. If you want to find out more about what we do and how we can help your business provide a superior customer experience, all you got to do is hop on over to www.teleworkph.com, hit the Contact Us page and book a call with me, or you can find me on LinkedIn. Just search Jeff Thompson, Client Solutions Manager for Telework PH. Or you can search Telework PH on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as the late, great Dr. Wayne Dyer said, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Take care, everyone. Be safe. This is Telecast PH, signing off.